Dunleavy, are you familiar with the Christian militants?
Yes, I am.
Can one say that they might possibly want to undermine this country? Because right now, constitutionally, the right for women to choose is a constitutional right. People disagree with it, but here's an individual attempting to undermine the protections that are given to women. Would you suggest that that might be compared to trying to undermine this country? That's a possibility, is it not?
Well, I think that anyone that goes about killing in the name of God is an ideologue. But when I talk about Dar es-Salaam, there are two worlds in the ideology of that. There's Dar es-Salaam, which is the world of Islam, and there's Dar al-Harab, which is the world of the infidel. And there is no middle ground. There is no common.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, as we look to be informational, we should include an analysis of how Christian militants or others might bring down the country. Christian militants or others might bring down the country. We have to look broadly, do we not?
I don't know that Christian militants have foreign country backing or foreign country finance.
I don't think that's the issue. The issue is whether or not their intent is to undermine the laws of this nation. And I think it is clear that that is the case.
And I think it is clear that that is the case.
Most of the domestic groups that we have to pay attention to here are white supremacist groups. They're anti-government, in most cases anti-abortion. Matthew Hale, who's the Pontifex Maximus of the World Church of the Creator out of Illinois, and Ben Smith, who went on a shooting spree in 3 different cities where he killed a number of African Americans and Jews and Asians that day. Those groups are groups that claim to be extremely anti-government and Christian identity oriented.
Norway has relatively relaxed gun laws, and we know that on this island, as you can see from this picture, he was carrying guns. It looks on this photograph as though he's pointing his gun at what appears to be young people in the water. Of course, the images of the young people there have been pixelated out. We also know that he was linked to a Freemason society and that he did have a license to carry weapons, and that he expressed Christian fundamentalist, anti-Muslim and nationalist views on websites. A Norwegian newspaper quoted a friend of his as saying that he turned to right-wing extremism in his 20s. His Facebook profile was blocked last night, but we believe that his page listed interests including Winston Churchill, classical music, and George Orwell's book 1984, as well as the serial killer TV show Dexter.
And there's breaking news on those shots fired at the White House. A man from Idaho is being charged with attempting to assassinate President Barack Obama.
Now formally charged with attempting to assassinate the president, this is Oscar Ortega Hernandez, who just appeared in federal court in Pennsylvania and was formally charged with this offense. It's a serious offense. It carries a maximum penalty of life in prison. It's the same charge that was used against Francisco Duran, the man who fired several shots outside the White House during the Clinton administration. But what Secret Service officials say is that they've talked to two friends of Ortega's who have known him in Idaho. One of them says that he has become agitated against the federal government over recent months, is concerned that there's a government conspiracy against him, and that he wanted to hurt President Obama, and referred to him as, I'm quoting from court documents, referred to him as the Anti-Christ.
As the Anti-Christ. As the Anti-Christ.
And told this friend that Ortega said he needed to kill him. And then a second person who the Secret Service says has known Ortega for 6 years said that his opinions about the president have grown worse in recent months, that he called Obama the devil, and said that Obama, quote, needed to be taken care of. So that's...
President Obama today proposed something new, something called prolonged detention. Doesn't sound that bad, right? Prolonged detention. Did you ever see the movie Minority Report? It was based on a Philip K. Dick short story. Came out in 2002. It starred Tom Cruise, remember? He played a police officer in something called the Department of Pre-Crime. Pre-crime is where people are arrested and incarcerated to prevent crimes that they have not yet committed. You didn't do anything, but you're gonna. Future murder. Creepy, right? Putting somebody in jail not for what they've done, but for what you're very sure they're going to do.
There may be a number of people who cannot be prosecuted for past crimes. In some cases because evidence may be tainted, but who nonetheless pose a threat to the security of the United States.
We're not prosecuting them for past crimes, but we need to keep them in prison because of our expectation of their future crimes.
Yeshua will take away the first fruits of the earth, which are to be offered to Yah. This is the first portion of the dough from which sacred loaves were to be prepared. The offering of the first fruits is the offering of those persons who are superior in excellence to others of the same class. This is the beginning, starting point, and first part performed when Yah becomes chief leader and ruler, reigning over us. Do not even begin to say, make not even an attempt to excuse yourselves, because the beginning of what follows hard upon the squandering of your goods. Yeshua is coming to discharge and perform the obligations and demands of the Messianic office. He will collect everyone together from all parts of the world individually, and he has dominion over us. Christ has redeemed some rich, some poor, and has not restricted his redemption to either Jew or Gentile. Yah gives blessings of every kind, yet he requires obedience in all things. Everything Yah wills, consciousness of rectitude in all things to the highest degree in all his inhabitants, in their whole compass, understanding, sense of personal direction, and extent. Whosoever, if anyone, heareth, whoever he is, let him hear and understand. Everyone owing, if he owe, forgive every debtor of ours. Everyone that is angry, forgive all men. We are all members of the church, the great majority, the multitude. Become all things to all men. Adapt yourselves in all ways to the needs of all, holy, altogether, in all your ways, in all respects. All things that exist, all created things, the totality of created things are His. Yah has filled the universe of things in all places with all the things that He can give for our benefit, and by its universality designates every class of men, which is all of mankind, under His supreme authority, that Yah may rule supreme, and by His spiritual power working within all, that He may be the eminent one, existing in and extending into all parts of the created universe, as the controlling principle of life, as a husband and wife in their mutual dependence upon one another. For all the things that befall you, the preceding serves to sum up what follows. These things, all taken together, above all things, collectively, are of the Alpha and Omega. Flee from deceit and deceitfulness of riches, for by deceitful influence men are seduced to sin. Do not allow men to cheat, beguile, and deceive you. Reflect the brightness of Christ as He perfectly reflects the majesty of Yah. His effulgence and radiance shall come shining forth as a light coming from a luminous body. He is the vine with outraying brightness. Yeshua will beam down upon us so that we will radiate, emitting energy as waves of light shining brightly, showing feeling and quality through looks, speech, behavior, and content. We shall shine as the break of day with the brightness of the sun at our separation and departure of physical distance and time. Yah will conceal the fragments He has separated in the ship, which is the ark. Turn away from wickedness, do not be corrupted, and thus led away from singleness of heart, and you will be heard and accordingly delivered from fear. Yah will make us members of a sect or society, a disciple or votary of those who are separated from the material form from which they were made. He will move or impel us to flee for fear of the evil one. Yah is the efficient cause and the force from which this thing proceeds. Yah's will, power, authority, command, favor, order, influence, and direction is to be sought. From the glory which we behold for ourselves in a mirror goes out a glory in which we shine by the Spirit of the Lord. We shall be separated from the destruction proceeding from the incensed, wrathful countenance of Yah. This is done by His own power and His own judgment. It is He to whom we are indebted for what we know, receive, and possess. It is all from Yah, the author and bestower. We are constituted as apostles by authority and commission according to Yah's will and appointment by the will of God. Annoyances proceed from unclean spirits. Be not vexed, annoyed, irritated, provoked, nor troubled with them as touching the flesh. Cry out from your hearts willingly and sincerely, with one voice, with one consent, and with one mind, and you shall be made extraordinarily constructed at your separation, liberation, and departure, your finishing and completion. Yeshua is the pattern from which the copy is taken. Shalom.